Good morning. Handgun, lights, and lasers. Do you love them or hate them? Are you in between? A lot of people have a very strong opinion one way or the other. I have always kept a white light on my my home defense firearm. This gun is clear, no mag, nothing in the chamber. I'll show you the first the light. As you can see on the wall, it's very, very bright. I don't want to shine it at the camera. I don't know that it would hurt the metering system any, but it's an incredibly bright light. This one also then can be used with just the red laser. It does not pulse, or you can put it into position. I don't know if you can see that in the viewfinder or not, but they're both on now. Possibly on the viewfinder, the red light of the laser is blinded out, but it's very pronounced on the wall. This is a stream light. It is a stream light TLR2. Turn my camera light on here. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. And this is an older light. I've had this light a long time. It works very, very well. I tend to rotate my home guns once in a while. I don't know why, but I've always believed that the magazine springs needed resting. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I do it. I just took this off of my XDM, so when I go to the range today, I'm going to try to re-zero it, make sure that it's shooting somewhat to the point of aim, so that if I need to use it. I had a interesting situation the other night, which I'm sure was probably just kids, but middle of the night I had a doorbell ring incident where about 1:30, 2 o'clock, the doorbell went ding, 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 and then I looked out a side window. I did not open my door. I would never do that. I also don't even use the peephole because I'm just always afraid to stand right in front of the door. But I looked out a side window, then another side window, and kind of worked my way around. I determined there was nobody there. It was probably kids, but with the home invasion scenario that's going on in the country, not so much in the small town I live in the Midwest, but it does happen here. I didn't want to open the door groggy and possibly have someone force their way into my home. You know, your first thought is family member, neighbor, somebody has a emergency, but like I say, I never open the door. Anyway, it got me thinking. Normally I use the white light, but don't use the laser, but I believe I'm going to incorporate them both. This is the Streamlight TLR2. Now this is the one with the red laser and the light. I'm out at the range. I've got a line marked up there, probably somewhere between 5 and 7 yards. And what I'm going to do is just move the camera up there. Hopefully you'll be able to see the laser dot, and then as I pull the trigger, you'll get an idea of where the laser is versus the impact. But anyway, I'm going to shut the camera down for a minute, get that up there, and then I'll turn it back on. No doubt that it's good enough to get the center mass there. I'm going to move down to a target in a minute. The laser dot may not be quite as visible for you there, but get that camera adjusted a little bit so you can see me. The laser dot, like I say, may not show quite as well on the white targets with the red backgrounds, but it'll give us an idea, a little better idea of just exactly what kind of a group you can get and how close to the point of aim it is. I just wanted to do the metal silhouettes first. And this will be at the target with the red background. Hopefully you'll be able to see the laser all right. that wasn't really what I'd call target grouping, and it looks like it was a little bit out. I've zoomed in so much that I guess I was a little optimistic, but anyway, that's not too bad. That's about 7 yards, and that's probably about a 3-inch group. I'm going to load it up and try it one more time just to see if I can do a little better. I backed that zoom off just a little bit so you get a better idea. And like I say, the idea behind this is so you can get a look at where the laser is in theory when I press the trigger, assuming there's not a lot of trigger jerk there. It'll give you an idea. It's actually kind of an unusual shooting in that I'm used to looking at the front sights and now I'm looking at the dot down there, but in a low light situation I could see this being a lifesaver. That's 10 rounds, and I mean that's really pretty good. I mean, for me, it's not for a it's certainly not for a competitive shooter, but I will walk down there and kind of hold my fingers up and give you a rough idea. There's a quarter, and I mean it's not, there's not much outside of the quarter. I don't know if you can see past my fingers or not, but a quarter gets pretty close to covering them. I believe a 50-cent piece would. Those are 1-inch squares, and they're pretty much all in a I'd say that's 1.5 inches, and you know, like I said, I'm not real used to the laser, plus you know, I mean that's just kind of how I shoot, so that's not too bad at all. I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind that is plenty good enough for self-defense in your home, and it I think certainly would give you a little bit of a tactical advantage in a low light situation over trying to find that front sight. This particular one also has a light on it, which is also very bright. Anyway, I'm going to shut this down for a minute, and I'll see you back at the house. Before I go, I decided to try this at 25 yards. Now, the laser's not set for 25 yards, plus that's just farther than I normally shoot, but I noticed that you can pick the, you can with no problem pick the laser up, even though it's daylight out here. It does show at 25 yards, so I'm going to try to shoot a group at 25 with the laser just to get an idea of where it prints versus where it prints at the 7-yard marker down there. I can't picture ever needing a laser at 25 yards in your house, but I do want to get some idea of where the difference in the point of impact would be. I'm going to try to move this camera, try to zoom it in on the target. Maybe you'll be able to pick up the laser light and see the bullet holes as they're forming. I think I'll back that up just a little. That's probably a little optimistic to assume that I'm going to shoot a better group than that. Paper. I'm gonna walk down here and take a look. I'm not sure that I ever got one on the paper there. Well, the brand new backer board made it pretty easy to see where I was. As you can see, at 25 yards, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm about 6 inches low. The left-right is good, and actually the group at 25 yards offhand with the laser, I thought was real good. It is interesting that there's that much difference in the trajectory. I don't really understand it, but then ballistics are not my strong point. But I mean, that's a 5-shot group at 25 yards offhand, looking at the laser instead of the front sight, and that's every bit as good as I could hope to do with the you know, open sights. And so it tells me I may want to consider possibly regulating my laser just a little bit, maybe to get it on paper at say 12 yards or 10 yards might put me a little more of a better compromise at shorter and longer ranges. But like I said, I don't really understand the ballistics difference in a laser versus the open sights. I'm sure it's quite a bit different because of the mounting below the barrel instead of above. I readjusted that laser, tried to get it set out a little farther. I'm going to try to get it more of kind of a medium range, but I'm going to try it again out here and see how I've done. I've brought it up what I think is probably about 5 or 6 inches. Considerably better.
That's it.
Okay. That was out here at 25. I'm going to move back in now and see what that did to it at 5 to 7 yards, just because I still think 5 to 7 yards is probably your best combat distance to have that laser set at. I think it is going to maybe be just a little high, but it was shooting a little bit low. Like I said, I think that'll be perfect. 7 to 25 yards ought to be no problem keeping it in the center mass. Well, that, I don't know why I didn't have it setting a little high. That's, it is shooting just at oh, I'd say shooting about 2.5 inches high at 7 yards. But as you can see, that's a pretty tight group. Now that I know where to hold, I'll try one more time. I'll hold about 1 inch low this time, and that should put me about on target at 7 yards. Those are, again, I'm just not framing them real well for you, but that's a real good group. Like I say, it's shooting about 2.5 inches, about 2.5 inches high. I held just under the where I wanted to hit, and it hit just over. There's just no doubt that's plenty good, and that'd give a guy a heck of an advantage in a dark home. I think I've got it where I like it. I believe I'll just leave it alone. I'm back. The light laser was impressive. I mean, obviously the light didn't come into play out there, but the laser held on It was easy to adjust. It takes a very small Allen wrench. They give it to you with that particular model. I don't even know if they still make that TLR2, but I assume they probably make that or some updated model of it. But it was very easy to adjust, just like a scope. And I was impressed. I left it zeroed. It's zeroed actually at about 12 or 13 yards. And that gave me a inside of the center chest in a like a coffee saucer size, anywhere from 4 or 5 yards out to about 18 yards. So I just think that that's perfect for home defense. If I'm farther than 18 or 20 yards, I'm not sure that I'm in a situation I'd want to try to justify in court firing unless they were firing at me, and I sure hope that never happens. But you know, I'm most interested in the situation where I were to confront someone in the home, and you know, then my next biggest fear obviously would be someone trying to get into my vehicle. I think those are by far the two most likely scenarios where you would have to use your firearm for self-defense, and I believe that 5 to 20 yards is a perfect distance to practice at and set your equipment for. So anyway, I was amazed. I thought that worked great. I love the 24/7. I'm sure a lot of people probably think that I took a big downgrade there, taking my XDM out of service and putting in the 24/7, but I don't agree with that. I mean, the XDM obviously has the cool factor. It costs a lot more money. It's a little prettier. But I find this 24/7 to be super, super accurate and amazingly reliable. Plus it fits my hand well. And also, if you're the kind of person that likes to use a safety, it has a you know, frame mounted safety with a decocker. So I think it's a good weapon. I actually leave mine just in, I guess I don't know what condition you would call it, but I leave it with the safety off and rely upon the fact that it has a long trigger like a double action revolver. I do not use the safety because if I'm groggy or, you know, overloaded with adrenaline, I don't want to have to manipulate the safety. I just want to be able to fire. I hope that I would have the presence of mind to engage the light laser. I know that I would if you hear the strange noise and you have time. I mean, if I stepped out of my bedroom and there was an attacker right there and I didn't already have it on, I don't know if I would have the presence of mind or not. I really don't know what would happen in that situation. And anybody that says they know is either a cop or a soldier that's been through it, or a civilian that's been through it, or they're just kind of talking a lot of smack, because I don't know that anybody knows what they're going to do if they walk out of their bedroom in the middle of the night and they're confronted by an armed intruder unless they've actually been through it. I hope I know what I'll do, but I can't say it for sure. Anyway, I think that having a white light is a must, and I think having the laser is certainly another good little hedge of your bet, and I think it's just smart to try to set the situation as much in your favor as you can. So anyway, thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Check out my webpage. If you ever need a holster, just give me a consideration. I'd sure appreciate it. Thanks a lot.